What's up, guys? This is Doctor, and welcome to another episode of the FPL Fantasy. We are back with another game week, another review, thought, and preview, or probably team selection and team reveal. Of course, I'm joined by my co host, Joe, who's already in the top 100K. How are you, Joe?
I'm feeling good. I feel like I could, fight Tyson right now. I'm in the top 100K at the end of a game week. It's way up here, cloud nine for me, because as most people know, the highest I ever reached up until this season was 312,000. So I'm feeling great. I'm hoping I can stay up there, but we know how FPL goes. You might start off with a bang, but it's very easy to slide backwards and all of a sudden you're 1.2 million.
Yeah. And building on that, let's have a look how Joe got into the top 100K from last game week. Here is Joe team. Joe, give me a thought.
First off, my shout out of Henderson absolutely smashed it. I mean, yes, the Rice PK was probably the worst PK ever taken in the world. He just dinked it or scooped it right to Henderson, so it was a very easy save. But that clean sheet, and Henderson in 2 game weeks is on 11 saves. So he's doing what I brought him in for. I told you he'd make saves, and he is. So Henderson was a big part of really jumping up the ranks there. And then Madison, he's still not owned really by anyone. His fixtures are going to get a little tougher in, I think it's 2 game weeks. So I might end up making a move off of Madison to somebody else. Maybe Kulu, maybe Mount. We'll have to see what the teams look like a couple game weeks down the line. But Madison, once again, coming in with the returns. And he's projected to get returns this next week. So I guess you'll find out in a little bit if I transferred him out or if I kept him in. But I think you have an idea there. Then, like everybody, Holland, the man, he got a return. He was a little unlucky not to get a second return. But it's okay as long as my captain didn't blank. It helped us out. And I mean, I'll mention it, but everybody literally has him in his team. No, I'm not talking about Trent or Salah. I'm talking about Gabriel Jesus, my man, 19 points. He finally turned up this season. He's 50% for crushing it in games. Got 19 points, was the highest scorer in the week. Just so happy that's actually panned out now. He was looking dangerous in game week 1. He finally finished in game week 2. That's kind of where I ended up getting a lot of my points from. And you'll see I did leave a couple points on the bench there. My good old friend Badman Brian coming through with a return, second on my bench, and Nico Williams, 7 points. So unfortunate. Third on my bench. I wish I had the foresight to see that. I would have switched out some of these 1-pointers in my team with those guys, and I would have been killing it.
And it would have been a good week to bench boost.
Yeah, it would have. I was just a week off. I had a good feeling, but it was the wrong game week to bench boost for sure.
Yeah, well done. I hope you stay in the top 100K. I hope you push up even further. And I can't wait to see what transfers you're planning to do in our next segment.
Only time will tell. Yeah.
But for now, let's move on to my team. Well, Man City brought the bread that we expected them to bring. Clean sheet versus Bournemouth. Cancel, of course, with a, let's say, a dodgy assist, but we will take it. And we have Walker here, who's everybody's trying to transfer in, while I consider transfer him out this week actually for game week 3, because the attacking returns possibility is quite low with him. The way that Pep is utilizing him as kind of a second DM or second like Rodri, so attacking returns are less probable than if he was playing at right back. But a City defender for 5.0, relatively nailed on for the next at least, let's say, 2 game weeks, is a steal. So I'll probably move him on at one point, but he's staying in my team now. James, Joe, I'm very happy with James. A goal after conceding is one of the best feelings in FPL. I celebrated it like I actually support Chelsea, so I was happy about it. And then Haaland, yeah, the assist, he could have scored more. Only if Foden squared that pass to him, we would have been golden. Nobody would have talked. Like, Haaland would have been a shout for the captaincy talk this game week. But most people are looking at Salah, looking at Jesus, which we're going to talk about in the next segment. So for now, I'm in the top, let's say 260K. But like I mentioned the last episode, I don't look at rank until like game week, let's say 16, 17, this is when I take effective ownership really into consideration. And again, you can look at it from like say game week 5, 6, when everybody who's there in the top 10k have used all their chips, the bench boosts, the triple captains, because everybody's trying to win this kind of monthly prize or a weekly prize. So when you're done with that, then you can see ranks moving. Otherwise, happy with the team. I have already done 2 transfers because I expected that I'm not going to be available for the deadline. Usually, I do my transfers around the deadline time, but you'll see that on our next segment.
Yeah, and I like the team. I like that you have a Chelsea person in there. Unfortunately, it's James. That second Spurs goal was an own goal. You won't be able to convince me otherwise. He lost points on that. Don't even try to
Even if
convince
it
me.
was, no, even if it wasn't an own goal. I will
Yeah,
take those points and run.
yes, yeah. No, you should because he's gotten 2 fairly decent weeks. So you know what that means. Zeros and 1 pointers are ahead for sure.
That's definite. That's definite. Like it's a nice segue as well to our next section. Let's talk about our thoughts for the next game week. Chelsea are playing Leeds away, and Leeds are historically, and it seems like most of their players, if not all of the main players, are available now from injury. Bamford, we're recording this on Thursday afternoon, so the Leeds press conference hasn't happened yet, but it seems like from the leaks that Bamford is fine, Sinistera's fine, so we might have good attacking threat from Leeds. Funnily, I transferred in a second Chelsea defender, but I'm looking at the kind of chasing the upside, hoping for that clean sheet. But if you would ask me, would Chelsea get a clean sheet versus Leeds? I don't see it happening. Would Chelsea win versus Leeds? Probably. But would they get a clean sheet? Probably not. What do you think about that, Joe?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It might be a little bit of foreshadowing, but I may or may not have transferred in a Leeds asset for a Leeds asset. But I can't see Chelsea actually solidifying a clean sheet in this match. Leeds just love to attack. Aronson is bringing a next level of creativity to the team and really creating a ton of chances for all of their additional attacking assets like Harrison, who seems to be back, Bamford, who seems like his injury was not as dangerous as we thought. There's rumors he may come off the bench, but it seems like he's definitely getting time in this coming week. And then good old Rodrigo. The man is 2 for 2 this season. He's killing it. His XG looks good. His XGI is fantastic. He's ready to get more points, and I think this is where we're going to see what is Leeds actually going to do this season against a tough opponent like Chelsea, where yes, their defense has struggled a little bit, but I was mentioning that Chelsea's greatest defensive asset is their attackers. And everybody looked at me like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, literally their defense and their attack are the exact same. Like James is getting attacking returns. Cucurella looks ready and rearing to go for attacking returns. Chilwell, when he gets time again, he's going to be getting attacking returns. Koulibaly, he got an amazing volley. Pretty solid strike for the first goal for the Chelsea game. All they need to do is just get in attacking defenders and put them in every single position, and Chelsea will be fine. Get rid of Mount, get rid of Havertz, get rid of all of them. You need defenders that can shoot. That's all they need.
You do mention Mount. Chelsea might not have great defensive fixtures, but they have great attacking fixtures. They're facing relatively terrible defenses. So if I had Mount, I would probably keep him. I actually, before the season starts, I was looking at the fixtures, and Mount was one of the people I penciled in to bring in game week 3. But plans change, of course. So you spoke about Rodrigo as well. Leeds have Chelsea at home and Brighton away in the next two, and a lot of people have transferred in Rodrigo. He's one of the most transferred in players this game week. It will be very interesting to see people. There is a good chance he blanks versus Chelsea. There is a decent chance he blanks versus Brighton, and this is when everybody will sell him before his an amazing run. Everton at home, Brentford away, Nottingham Forest at home. So let's say relatively casual managers are chasing last week points. I know you might think this is like yes, exactly. You think this is going towards you, but I'm trying kind of to put a word of caution. Just the fixtures are amazing. Keep him for the long haul if you have a Rodrigo.
Yeah, and the way that I look at players like Rodrigo is I have a fairly decent bench that I can bring in people in and out of. So whoever has the best fixture is fine. On assets like Rodrigo that I'm expecting to play maybe 50 to 75% of the time, I give 3 game weeks to come into my team, show me something good, create chances, whatever it might be. I think in the next 3 game weeks, Rodrigo will probably come up with a goal and an assist at least in those 3 games. And I don't think that is being overly optimistic. It's definitely possible with the team that they have and where Rodrigo's been playing.
Absolutely agree. And I think the main talking point we have next is basically captaincy, right? So who are you captaining, you know?
This is a tough one. I'm going right now back and forth between Jesus and Salah. Salah has Man United, who we didn't even anticipate Salah being a captain option. I feel like for game week 3 at the beginning of the season, Man United, they get a different manager and things just get worse. They've brought in some great managers. They've had great players in and out of their club like crazy, and there's something there that isn't ticking. And as FPL players, we should capitalize on that and get all the points we can from that Man United team that looks like they have nothing going on. So Salah is definitely a good shout. Even last year, I believe they had gotten 5 goals on United. So regardless of what you're really looking at, Liverpool love playing United, and they are pretty good in countering what United has set up. So I'll probably go with Salah, but Jesus has a decent fixture against Bournemouth. He's coming off of 4 returns in the last game. It's hard to look at him and go, yeah, you're not good enough. What do you think, Doc?
Yeah, I'm currently on Salah. We're gonna see in the team selection next section, but yeah, I've tinkered a bit with the idea that I might captain Jesus, but I'm a United supporter. I can see how the team is a mess. I would give one advice to everybody though. There is rumors that the match might be postponed or abandoned because of protests from Manchester United fans and not attending with Glazers out and the whole topic, right? I would have the vice captain if you're captaining Salah on a non-Liverpool or Manchester United player. I don't think anybody will captain a Manchester United player. But if you are, put the captaincy on, let's say, Jesus, Haaland, just in case anything happens with the match. I think it's unlikely, but there's always the possibility. So that's my advice. And talking about captaining Salah and my team, shall we move on to our teams? So we currently have on the screen Joe's team. He actually has already done his transfers. Joe, what transfers have you done?
So I took out Aronson and I took out Bailey, and I brought in De Silva and I brought in Rodrigo. De Silva, a little bit point chasing, but he's getting time. He has very low XG goals, but he's got confidence in him, and that tends to help create something out of nothing. But regardless, I needed a 4.5 million midfielder to bring in, just free up some cash there. So brought in De Silva because he's looking good. I like how Brentford are playing. Maybe I'll regret it because I'll have wanted a third Brentford spot for somebody else, but time will tell on that. And then for Aronson, I had alluded to it. I brought in Rodrigo. I like the way he's looking. Yes, he's starting. Yes, I'm insane. Yes, though, this is how I've gotten to the top 100K in 2 weeks. So hopefully the luck is still on my side. Everything is still looking green to go. And Rodrigo can come in and get me some points there.
Yeah, and we talked off this video, like I think yesterday when you mentioned that you've done the transfers, and I said that Aronson to Rodrigo feels slightly sideways, but I can see why you've done the transfer. The XG is ridiculous. The XGI on Rodrigo is ridiculous. So if he continues this form, yeah, I don't see why not. He can absolutely score versus Chelsea, who I have 2 defenders from. He can absolutely perform versus Brighton, and then he has nice 3 fixtures in a row. So I see the point of bringing him in. Absolutely. Good luck, and I hope you go into the top 10K this game week.
Oh yeah, if I get there, it's gonna be a party, everybody. There's gonna be dance music going in the background of the next video. I can promise you that.
I'll probably mute you on Twitter because you're gonna be so smug. All those gifs will come on. So, anyways, moving on to my team to finish off this episode. It's one of the most talked debates actually in this game week, which is Robertson out. I took out Robertson. I've already done my transfers because I was supposed to fly this weekend before the deadline, so that didn't happen. Guess why that didn't happen? Because I tested positive. So this I'm still on. I'm still on this video. Commitment is here. The grind continues. So that doesn't deserve a like or a subscription. I don't know what else. So yeah, I'm talking to you while testing positive. I transferred out Robertson for Cocarella because I think it's just chasing the upside. Cocarella offers a lot. He's on some set pieces. He's on corners. He attacks a lot, and even if he gets benched once here and there for Chilwell before game week 8, which is probably when I'm going to wildcard, so be it. And I have the bench to cover him anyways if he gets totally benched. And there are talks that he can possibly play as a left center back. Thiago Silva is like 500 years old. He will probably not play 38 games. So it can be like Cucurella, Thiago Silva, Aspilicueta, or sorry, Cucurella, Koulibaly, Aspilicueta. So there is a potential for a back three. So I don't think Cucurella's minutes will really suffer. So I brought Cocarella in for Robo and I brought Luis Diaz for Neto. So the main reason I made this transfer is because as a combination, Luis Diaz and Cocarella are better than Robo and Neto. And mainly the weak point here is Neto. Do I think Robertson will probably outscore Luis Diaz? I think actually yes. Despite that, I've done the transfer because I think the combination wins here. So whatever that Robertson does, Luis Diaz can do, but Cocarello will probably outscore Neto, and that was kind of the rationale behind it. It was for free. I had 1 million in the bank, and now I have only zero point 0.5 left. I didn't lose any value on any players yet, and I gained a lot of value, so I'm happy with how this season is going so far. It's a bit on the boring side because of Twitter template, but I'm happy. Let's see how this game week goes.
Yeah, I love the transfers that you made. Cucurella. Something that I love about him that I was so disappointed when he was at Brighton is all Brighton did was play down Lamptey's side. And Doc knows this because I messaged him during games last year nonstop. I'm like, there is literally nobody on Cucurella because they know he's not getting the ball. Just switch fields with the ball and he's going to have like 8 goals because nobody is marking him. So that's one of the things that I'm very excited for him about transferring into this Chelsea side is he is getting opportunities. He's getting the ball. You're seeing more of the stuff that a lot of our more veteran players saw in Cucurella that we liked and that we wanted to see more of. But the way Brighton played was typically down Lamptey's side because he's so quick. He's got nice foot skills and he knows how to play a ball pretty well. But Cucurella was being basically put into the shadow. I'm glad he's here. I think he's an absolute smash for the defender spot. If you can bring him in, definitely do it. And I also, one of the things that I really like between both of our teams is there isn't a lot of template like crossover, too much. I mean, yes, Jesus, Trent, Salah, Martinelli, and yeah, Cancelo and Holland. Cool, that's fine. But like those other positions, there's like so much differential that is happening between both of our teams, and we're both doing pretty well. I mean, I didn't mention, but you saw on the screen, I'm sure, that my points are 156 and you're at 149. Like, slim margins. If Zinchenko gets a clean sheet rather than actually getting the 12 points that he did in the first game week, we're talking a completely different game. You and me are, 1 point off of each other. And I think that's kind of one of the fun, exciting things going into this year and into this season that we're seeing that I appreciate out of what's happening. Now, who knows? Maybe everybody will settle down and will become more template because that's just what happens over time. You pick out the players that are consistently performing well. But I love the transfers that you made. I think they're going to work great for you. Luis Diaz, he's starting to come up on the radar a little bit for me. He's now performing a little bit in the Premier League. He's done it in other leagues. He's done very well, especially in the UCL last year. He did really good for Liverpool. The one issue that I had was on the game this last week, Luis Diaz was like lost until he scored the goal, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, that's right, I can play. And I'm like, just play like this all the time and you'll get so many returns. Like, just do this. But I know the goal was kind of a confidence booster of, okay, I've opened my account for this season. let's go. It's time to play. So I love the team, Doc. I'm excited to see where it goes. I hate that you have James in there still, but time will tell when he gets a 0 and a 1 and everybody's complaining about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna happen. It's James after all. The main thing I'm happy about my team is actually I have three Arsenal, three Liverpool, three Man City, and two Chelsea. So technically, from the top five teams, let's say four of those teams are covering my starting 11. So Neto was kind of that weak point, and I got rid of that weak one. That's the main that's the main reason for the transfer. So if Chelsea don't perform on the day, I have the opportunity for City to do it, for Liverpool to do it, for Arsenal to do it. So it's the big teams get good players from good teams. On that note, do share with us your transfer down in the comments down below. We always reply to our comments, we always give our opinion. And if you're still here, we appreciate it. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe. Joe, would you like to say goodbye to our audience?
Yeah, everybody kind of echoing what Doc had said. Like, subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Interact with us on Twitter. We're a ton active this season, mostly because I'm at home bored and I just jump on and put up some random poll and see what happens. But that type of interaction is what FPL is all about and what the FPL Twitter community is all about. So appreciate everybody that we've interacted with, and don't forget to tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, your kids, all of them to subscribe to FPL Fantasy. We will see you next time, everybody.